Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next episode on my talk show. Today, I have Karthik, who's been my friend and colleague for a long time now, and I guess the first male on my talk show. So today, we're going to talk about his career journey from how he moved from becoming an IC to running his own company, and some lessons that we can learn from him, probably that we could use in our daily life. All right. Without further delay, let's get started. Hi, Karthik.
Hey, hi Sharmana. Good
Hello.
evening. Yeah,
Good evening. Thank you, Karthik, for joining my show and accepting to be a speaker. So maybe you know how this works. So we could get
Mhm.
started with a quick introduction about yourself.
Sure, Sharmana. First of all, thank you for inviting to your
Sure.
YouTube channel. I have been watching your couple of videos, and Sharmana artists were really doing good. Yeah,
Thank
it's a
you.
nice, it's a nice initiative. Yeah, coming back to me, my name is Karthik.
Mhm,
I'm the founder of Mydbops, and I own a startup for the last 5 years. And basically, I had my college in Tirunelveli,
mhm,
Tier 2 city, and then I had moved to Bangalore in 2010,
mhm,
where I work with a startup who does
mhm,
the database management and support. I had
mhm.
worked a couple of years there, and then I
Okay.
moved to Wipro, a service-based company,
Mhm,
where I have worked for a year with their internal product in BPO, where I
mhm,
managed some large amount of MySQL instances. And then I moved to
mhm,
Yahoo as a DBA there. That's where
mhm,
I learned a lot about the databases and how to manage systems in large scale. Yeah.
mhm.
And prior to in 2016, I have started my own company called Mydbops, and
Uh-huh.
we are running successfully for the past 5.5 years. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
a small thing about me.
Nice, nice, Karthik. Like how I know about you, right? That we worked in Yahoo together. I
Yeah,
definitely want to understand how you kind of moved from becoming an individual contributor working in corporate companies to becoming the CEO of your own company, right?
yeah,
That's such a phase. Like I talk about you to quite a few of my friends and other colleagues, saying, I know this person who was my colleague and now is a CEO of a company, right? And I quote you as an example, saying it's all up
mhm.
to you as such and how to grow. So maybe if you could talk more around that, Karthik, that will help.
Yeah, sure. So as
Uh-huh.
I said, yeah, I was handling some large amount of database in Yahoo, and that's the
Mhm.
time there were large amount of openings in MySQL DBS for India's also, like
Okay.
India, yeah, for the large scale, right?
Mhm.
So Yahoo is a kind of such a company like you will never make some large scale data in Yahoo, right? Like beyond
Okay.
Yahoo, right? Yeah, you have properties, more large properties to maintain. Like Yahoo is one of the
Right.
biggest internet property, right? So where we have seen the
Absolutely.
scale,
Mhm.
but that's where I see there is a huge demand and supply in the market. And then I
Okay.
tried to start on my own. And that was the time there are many good companies in India just growing and they're scaling a lot. Okay.
Okay.
So that paved the way actually for me to think about and move in the direction. Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
majorly my father is a biggest motivation for me also when coming to this. Yeah, because my father is a welder. He was working as a daily wager. And then he
Uh-huh.
started his own welding shop. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And he has his own welding shop in Kanyakumari and he's 65 and still active and running his own
Wow.
business. Yeah. So I know what's the pros and cons and what it
Mm-hmm.
takes to run a business and to be consistent in that. And he's a man of
Right.
quality and he ensure
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
utmost quality to his customers. So
Uh-huh.
I
Uh-huh.
want to, so I derive most of my characters from him. Okay.
Oh,
So that
okay.
motivates to
Okay.
start it. Yeah. So initially I
Nice.
started with two partners beyond me. And
Uh-huh.
then
Uh-huh.
I built a core team of 6 people who has come with
Uh-huh.
varied experience in the development and DevOps and sales. Okay. And now
Uh-huh.
we are a 6 member core team and we are there
Okay.
for last 5 years, 5 plus years.
Okay.
So that really
Okay.
helps to scale a lot. Okay.
Nice.
And the first
Uh-huh.
3 years, it will always survival. Like you have to survive in the market, right? Because at
I
Yahoo,
get
you
it.
are really paid well and then you want to start
Mm-hmm.
something new. So it's
Mm-hmm.
all about survival in the first 3 years and then you have to pick the
Right.
pace. All right.
Right.
Yeah. So
Cool.
that's all about my journey.
Okay. Okay. Very nice, Karthik. Where you, looks like when you said that your father is like your first hero, and that's from whom he seemed to be the motivator or a follow icon, right? And I looks like it's in the family, it's in the blood that you run your own company, right? And when you spoke about how you've done various roles from the time you started off to where you are today, right? So if we could talk about what does Mydbops actually do in terms of, I know it's about database, but like what
Yeah.
are the services and what is the outcome, or what services do you provide as Mydbops as a company?
Okay. So Mydbops, it was basically into databases, as you said, and we
Uh-huh.
concentrate more on the open source databases, basically
Okay.
MySQL, Mongo, and Postgres. These three databases. We started as a
Okay.
MySQL shop, and then we
Okay.
slowly adapted MongoDB and Postgres also. So these are the
Okay.
top three open bases, which is almost there in almost any organization, right? Like
Okay.
world is moving towards open source, and data is also growing
Right.
enormously. And
Right.
Indians, and the Indian subcontinent, which has a more amount of population than the USK.
Absolutely.
So if you
Mm-hmm,
are
mm-hmm,
able to save something for the Indian market, right, then you
mm-hmm.
can serve anywhere. Okay, so our service is basically focused on bringing the reliability to the databases. So
Okay.
we solve complex databases in problem. Basically,
Okay.
maybe like building up a cluster or city to scale.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So as you have right, we get the standard practices which enables the database scale, and then we solve
Mm-hmm,
some
mm-hmm.
complex problems. So we have some of
Okay.
our biggest customer named like, so we serve many big customers in India. You can be, there are
Mm-hmm,
many unicorns and there are many
mm-hmm,
into IPOs also. We serve
mm-hmm,
close to
mm-hmm.
10 plus unicorns in India, and
Wow.
almost 5 are in IPOs. And we
Okay.
serve some of the biggest financial institutes and India's biggest logistics and retails. And yeah, so we basically serve, we provide them the database services like managing the
Mm-hmm,
databases around the clock.
mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
And so we bring the reliability to the system. Okay,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
because the 70% of the application downtime is because of the databases.
I know.
You know it, right? Yeah, you know it really well as you are an ops manager. You know it really well. So if you can bring reliability to the system, to the your databases, right, then it
Uh-huh.
increases the reliability of your application and the
Mm-hmm.
responsive application, because the
Right.
responsive database matters a lot. So we
Right.
are into that niche area.
Exactly. So, like, actually, like what you said, right? This is like you said, if you can kind of serve the Indian market, right? Because it's biggest one, and then you can kind of serve across, and you have some of the most important companies, big MNCs who are your clients. How do you kind of manage this? Manage your entire company with the kind of people that you have when it comes to the quality of deliverables? Because in the previous conversation, you mentioned you also ensure that it's the outcome of anything you do definitely has quality in it, right? How do
Yeah,
you kind of work on that? And because I believe the way I see it is, you can only grow if there's consistency in your quality over and over and over again, right? If you drop
yeah,
that, you lose the customer base. And I see
exactly.
that it's not easy to survive in this industry. And you say you've been there for 5.5 years. So definitely it shows that you are maintaining that quality, what the customer is expecting. So how do you ensure that's maintained and continue to do that?
So as you said, right, the consistency
Mhm.
is the key here. Here, the important key is the consistency. So
Uh-huh.
how right? So we don't think databases directly as a databases. We solve it
Okay.
with technology. So we adapt technology from the
Uh,
very early phase.
okay.
Like it can be a chatbots or it can be automations or DevOps. We adapt this
Uh-huh.
very
Uh-huh.
quickly. Okay.
Okay.
So with technology, that is the passion for technology and the passion for databases. We integrate the both. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
uh, yeah, that's what that really helps us scale. And also, we push our team
Okay.
really hard to land the new technology in the market to be on the top.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, we have a very precise training cycle, and we also
Uh-huh.
have.
Uh-huh.
If you look right now, we had a budget of 40K budget for the self development and training.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I derived that principle and applied there in my own office
Wow.
also, so that
Okay.
people can. So yeah, so even we go beyond that also, right? Like we
Right.
spend more than whatever we give it also. Even I had a privilege in Yahoo.
Mm-hmm.
My manager approved when even I crossed my 40K budget. So
Right.
okay, so
Right.
I derived
Yeah.
that and then we applied also. So here in this
Okay.
business, right, in the database business,
Mm-hmm.
the trust matters a lot. The,
Uh-huh.
yeah, because you are in the database business, the trust matters a lot. The trust in the database security and the
Mm-hmm.
reliability.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
so the quality should be maintained always around the clock. So because the
Absolutely.
customer trusts you with your data, right? So you have to
Right.
maintain that. And the
Right.
reward for good work always the more work. So when we do the good work, the name of work always spreads, right? The good or bad, right? Yeah, the word of mouth always spreads. So we
Absolutely.
so we
Uh-huh.
as a team always focus on that, and we have a great
Uh-huh.
team. So we inbuilt
Mm-hmm.
the people here, and they are really awesome team. Yeah.
Right. Amazing, Karthik. That was a good one where the reward of good work is more work. I will remember that and I can so relate to it. Right. I've never thought of it that way, but that was a very good line. Right.
Yeah.
And I love the way that you mentioned about how you maintain the quality. Of course, you start training your people from the beginning, and I think the concept of ensuring that you have some setup part to ensure that they are trained on the latest technologies and so that you're up in the market, right? I think that kind of shows your passion for the work that you deliver, and I think it also helps both from an individual's growth perspective, which in turn also helps the company grow, right? So I think that's one important quality. I mean, personally, like what you said, right, in Yahoo, your manager kind of even approved something beyond the allocated budget because he found that it is useful for you and for the company, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's a win-win on both sides when you kind of open up these doors where it's the growth of the individual, which leads to the growth of the company as well. So,
Exactly.
right. And I think the other important point that I wanted to kind of highlight was you talking about how the word of mouth spreads. I think that is so true to even this day. It's so similar to how it used to be in the olden days, right? When you buy something, you say, hey, you go to that shop, it's very nice and it's low cost, it's also quality and stuff. I think that is applicable to a large extent even today when it comes to service industry, especially, right?
Exactly.
Right. Amazing, Karthik. That actually talks that your quality of work is so good that you actually have been getting one above the other MNCs that you work with, right? And you also mentioned about the 24/7 support that you provide. I guess that's not so easy. And
Yeah.
you
You
definitely,
understand the process. Yeah.
I know, tell me about it.
Yeah.
It definitely is not easy,
Yeah.
right? So, mhm.
We derived we build a team and talent in-house mostly. We
Okay.
Yeah, mostly we try to build the talent in-house mostly. We derived it from
Hmm.
Zoho. So hope
Okay.
people might Zoho a lot. Yeah. So Zoho has a Zoho school of training where they get the people from freshly from the colleges or even from the schools, and they start
Uh-huh.
training them for 2 years or whatever. So we derive
Okay.
that principle and we train
Okay.
them in-housely, and that gives a very good benefit. And
Okay.
there is a continuous learning will be there, and also we
Okay.
reward them really well, and that
Ah,
keeps
okay.
them really traveling with them together for a very long time.
Right, right. I think it always pays, right? It's always like this, right? Nobody leaves the company, they leave their bosses. So if the boss is good, where you're learning and you're developing and you're also kind of delivering, they're always going to be there. And the quality of work also kind of goes hand in hand, right?
Yeah.
So that's it, Karthik. Since Mydbops and like what you said, database is a very important ingredient of any application, right? Wherever you are hosted, irrespective, right?
Irrespective.
Yeah, right. Whether it's in cloud, whether it's on-prem data center, right? One thing that I wanted to understand with being so much in the industry and how Mydbops work, we all talk a lot about open source, right? Maybe if you could talk a little bit around that. I know about it personally that I kind of read your LinkedIn posts. Maybe if you could talk a little bit around that, that will also help.
So open source business is all about contribution, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
here, yeah, we as in generally, right? Previously, there is a really a great thought like Indians consume a lot, like they don't give
Hmm.
back to the community. But I don't
Uh-huh.
think that's a thing now. It was
Okay.
maybe a decade before. Now we see more amount of
Okay.
contribution to the open source community also. So
Okay.
for as some IDBs, what we do is we contribute back. We
Okay.
have our blogs, which explains the what is the latest in the technology, and we
Okay.
also have our webinars. So which is
Okay.
conducted once in
Okay.
a month, and
Uh-huh.
we have our
Uh-huh.
meetups
Uh-huh.
actually happens once in a quarter, and derived
Okay.
from LSP. So in Yahoo we have the LSP, right? Large scale
I know.
production
I know.
engineering. Yeah, even we have presented there also, and also we present
Nice.
outside like events like LSP, the
Uh-huh.
Oracle MySQL user camp, Persona meetups. Uh,
Uh-huh.
this even today we are presenting in Potsdam, like on the Feb 5th, we are presenting in the Potsdam.
Amazing.
Potsdam is an international event for
Right,
Indian open software.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
so
aware of
we are
that.
presenting in
Yeah,
MariaDB, yeah, one of
yeah.
our engineering present there. So usually we not only that we preach it internally, like we have to contribute to the community. So we always ask our team to write back the blogs. We give
Mm-hmm.
our time, we make the reviews, and there is a cycle. Okay, like we give the
Mm-hmm.
review, we give the feedback, and they come back with their better blogs or better writings. We train them also to how to present better in the outside. So that also in that way we are contributing back to the community. And the meetups, we always involve people from the external world, like maybe the InnoDB developer, that is InnoDB is a core engine in MySQL. InnoDB developers from MariaDB or MySQL, or even from top industry veterans from other companies, like from Grab, Ola Cabs.
Okay.
So we involve always. So that also gives back to the community in some sense.
Right. Yeah, that totally makes sense, right? I think this sense of responsibility when you're a company, I think how you kind of give back to the company, give back to the community does play a role, right? One is you contribute, and the other is like you also learn from them, right?
Yeah,
I think that's a very good quality, Karthik, and it's really nice to know that you also engage your engineers and juniors to kind of go ahead and participate in these forums and actually contribute there as well, right? And congratulations on you being a part of the first time and one of you guys actually presenting today, right? And it's internationally going a long way. Good luck with it.
Thank you.
Right. Cool. Okay, Karthik, one other thing that I basically wanted to ask is, I know you've been in this field for about 5.5 years, right? And there is so much of competition today, especially in the service industries area, right?
Yeah.
How do you kind of maintain this and have been continuing to grow? What is one key ingredient or secret factor, that's kind of keeping you going and growing as well?
Yeah, as I said before, right? It is the consistency that keeps us growing. Okay. So yeah, see, there will be ups and downs always in this business, like any service business, right? There will be always ups and downs. But as a team, right, we invest a lot in mentoring the people and training the people, and the consistency is the key. So we invest a lot on our talents, okay, like rewarding them better or training them better. So that's the important thing in this business. So here the team matters a lot. So yeah, so that's a team that makes a company to run. So that's our main thing, and yeah, the consistency and the passion for technology. The entire team has a great passion for the technology. They are very young and they are very energetic. So that keeps us moving forward and forward.
Nice, Karthik. I really like the way you kind of stressed on the word teamwork, right? It's never an individual's contribution, right? It could be an idea, but I think that kind of takes its face only when there is teamwork involved, right? And it shows how you kind of keep your team motivated by training them and guiding them and all of that. So that's really nice. And I think the core was consistency is the key, right? To keep trying and continue delivering on the same lines and maybe get better at it, right? Cool, Karthik. Thank you so much for taking time. I think some of the major things that I've learned is consistency is the biggest thing that has kind of driven you and brought you to where you are today. And definitely, I can see that it'll take you further as well, right? And the other is like the passion for technology that you have. And I think the most important part is like training your team to kind of learn the latest technology and also how you contribute back to the community, right? I think these are some of the wonderful things that I got from this conversation that we've had. So thank you so much, Karthik, for everything and taking time and to come and talk on my show here today, right? And all the very best.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Sharmila. And all the best for your channel. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Okay, so that was Karthik. I'm sure quite a few of you or most of you would have picked up tips from what Karthik's conversation today. It definitely shows that he's really built on his career with consistency as the key. And he's an example of how if you have that in you, you definitely can make it and grow. Right. So if you have any questions or any comments, please go ahead and put it in the comment section and do subscribe to my channel for the next videos. Thank you.